Good day, good day, good day to you. Okay, I'm Red, and today I'm going to be reading some r/PettyRevenge. Get ready for the pettiness, everybody. Okay, let's get going. He wanted all his stuff back, so I made sure he got everything. So, my last relationship was beyond bad. He was all sorts of abusive and controlling. At one point I had the strength to break up with him, but then we got back together after we discussed some things. Stupid, I know, but yeah, love and all that. Well, anyways, one of the things we agreed on was that he and I would stop drinking alcohol because he was beyond crazy aggressive when he was drunk, and I wanted to support his sobriety. This is really important. Fast forward about 8 months or so, and we got into a huge fight, and I not only broke up with him, I kicked him out of the house and I told him he wasn't ever allowed back inside. We'd been living together over a year at this point, so his mum got in touch with me about getting his stuff. While on the phone with her, I could hear him in the background saying, "Make sure they get everything I own or bought. I want it all back." Apparently, even stuff he gifted to me he wanted back. But honestly, I didn't care. I was happy to get rid of anything related to him. While cleaning our room up and gathering everything, I started to come across numerous bottles and cans of alcohol. It seemed he'd been drinking again for a while and was hiding the evidence in our room. I mean, he was hiding them under the bed, in his guitar case, rolled up in his clothes, in some old backpacks of mine, and so on and so forth. He had said he wanted everything of his, so any bottle and the few unopened cans I found went straight into one of the garbage bags of his stuff. By the time I gathered everything up, I had 3 bags of stuff, and one was basically all just the alcohol. Dropping them off was just so satisfying. He actually called moments after I left his parents' place ranting about how petty and immature I was being. My response? Well, you wanted all of your stuff back and those definitely weren't mine. Plus, I figured you'd probably need a drink to deal with the breakup. I promptly ended the call and blocked him on everything. Most satisfying thing I've ever done. Yes, I wrote this story very petty, but I'm sure it was very satisfying. Okie dokie, you ready for the next story? Yeah? Okay, let's go. Park in my driveway. Hope you plan to stay the night. This was several years ago when I was living at my parents' house still. I was around 19 at the time. I used to drive an old pickup truck, which I always parked on the street in front of my house as my parents put one car in the garage and the other in the driveway on the other side. This way no one was ever blocked in. Our old neighbours used to always have large gatherings of family and friends. Seemed like once a month I would come home and find our street lined with cars, all at their house. One weekend my parents went out of town, which left the driveway open, so I parked in it because why not? This was on a Saturday. I realised that our neighbours were having people over. No big deal, happens regularly, they're polite and quiet. Their guests will sometimes park close to being in front of our driveway, which is annoying when trying to back out with cars basically surrounding it on all sides. I decided to run and pick myself up some dinner around probably 6-7 p.m. I was gone maybe half an hour. When I get back, I noticed that someone was parked right smack in the middle of our driveway. It wasn't just any car though, it was a G-Wagon. I'd seen this SUV several times before. Usually it's one of the cars parked close to the front of our driveway. But this time, they decided to park in our driveway. Could I have gone and asked them to move the car and park elsewhere? Of course I could have. Did I? No. Instead, I parked my truck across the entire entrance to the driveway, blocking them in. After a few hours, I get a knock on the door. Guess who it is? The car's owner having the gall to ask me to move my truck so they can leave. I could have moved it, no problem. Instead, I told them as I'd already gone and picked up my dinner, I had no reason to leave until at least the next afternoon. They asked if I could just move it as they wanted to go home. I told them again, I had no reason to leave and my truck is really loud and I don't want to disturb the other neighbours by starting it so late at night, and they're welcome to come back for it tomorrow. I left the truck there until around noon the next day. Not sure how they got home as this was before Uber and there were no taxis in the area and they were one of the last vehicles to leave the party. But that ain't my problem. Should have thought about that before parking in my driveway. I think this is the exact level of pettiness that this situation deserved. parks in a stranger's driveway when you're going to visit someone else's home? Like, that's some sort of logic that I don't get. That's a whole level of entitlement. This seems like r/entitled people as well as r/PettyRevenge. Give the video a likey and we'll get on with story number 3. I can embarrass you more. When they were younger, my kids would argue about everything, and I mean everything. Who sat where, who went through the door first, who got to pat the dog first. They didn't care where we were. If it could be argued over, they would argue. It would start as a verbal argument, but it would end quite often in pushing and shoving. As well as being annoying, it could also be embarrassing when we were in a public place, especially as both my kids are tall and looked a lot older than they were. So at 10 and 8, they looked 14 and 12. Although this makes them sound like brats, they weren't. When they weren't arguing about stupid stuff, they got on really well and were, and are, good kids. And most of the time, I accepted it as a phase. But the day came when I had enough. They'd argued from the moment I'd met them at the school gate, through getting into the car, the journey to the supermarket, getting out of the car, and walking up to the store and trolley bay. Cue a new argument about who would push the trolley. They both grabbed it, got inside the entrance, and stopped, close to where people were both entering and leaving, i.e., where there was a large audience. They then start to literally fight over who should push the trolley. They were each trying to push the other one's hands off the handle, shouldering each other out of the way and doing the whole, "Mom, it's my turn. Mom, make him stop," etc., etc. People had started to do that thing where they are walking really slowly past us whilst pretending not to notice. So I sat down on the floor and started to sing. I can't remember what the song was, but I really can't and shouldn't sing. I am completely tuneless and don't even sing in the shower, as I offend my own ears. Now people did stop and openly stare. My kids didn't notice straight away. It took a few minutes for the sound of my singing to percolate through their arguing. When it finally did, they realized they were surrounded by a group of people and their mother was sitting on the floor singing really, really badly. My daughter hissed at me, "Mom, what are you doing? Stop it, it's really embarrassing." And I said, "Yep, it sucks, doesn't it?" Then I got up off the floor, bowed to the audience of shoppers, grabbed the trolley and walked off to the veg aisle, whistling a merry little tune. It was a sweet, sweet moment. I am saving this for when my kids are older, and hopefully I don't have to use it, but my oldest is very tantrumy, so who knows. Sometimes I find that r/PettyRevenge stories aren't petty enough, if you know what I mean. But today's stories were truly, truly petty, and I really enjoyed it. If you enjoyed these r/PettyRevenge stories read by me then please give the video a like. Even if you just enjoyed it a tiny, tiny bit, I'd appreciate it. And if you could subscribe if you haven't already, that would be awesome as well, because I really, really enjoy reading to you. Thanks so much. Have a good day. Bye.